Late one rain-soaked evening, when the city's most prestigious private hospital hummed with sterile lights and muted footsteps, Ethan Blackwood, the kind of millionaire whose name opened doors before he ever touched the handle, walked its long corridors not as a king of industry but as a broken man hiding behind a tailored suit, because wealth could not save the one thing he loved most. His own young son lay upstairs recovering from a rare heart condition, and every beep of a monitor felt like a hammer striking Ethan's chest, so he wandered aimlessly to escape the fear, and that was when he saw her at the far end of the emergency wing, a widow by the look of her worn black scarf and tired eyes, clutching a tiny baby whose breathing came in shallow, uneven gasps, the child's lips tinged with a frightening blue as the mother whispered prayers through trembling lips, her clothes simple, her shoes soaked, her entire world balanced in her shaking arms, and when she tried to call a nurse her voice cracked and disappeared into the echoing hallway, ignored by a system that had already decided her suffering was not profitable enough to prioritize, and Ethan, who had just signed a seven-figure check earlier that day without blinking, felt something inside him snap as he watched doctors rush past her toward VIP rooms while she sank slowly to her knees, pressing her forehead to her baby's chest, whispering, "Please don't leave me too." And in that moment Ethan saw not a stranger but his own past reflected back at him, because years ago, before the billions, before the private jets, he too had stood helpless in a hospital hallway while his wife bled out after childbirth due to delayed treatment they couldn't afford at the time, leaving him alone with a newborn and a heart full of rage and regret, and that memory surged so violently that his breath caught, his polished mask cracking as he walked toward the widow and knelt beside her without caring who saw, asking softly what was wrong. And when she looked up her eyes were hollow with exhaustion as she explained between sobs that her husband had died in a factory accident months earlier, that she had sold everything to pay medical bills, that her baby had been born weak, and tonight his breathing had worsened but the hospital demanded an advance payment she simply did not have, and as she spoke the baby let out a faint cry that sounded more like a plea than a sound, and something primal took over Ethan as he stood. Abruptly, his voice cutting through the hallway like thunder as he demanded a doctor immediately, and when a junior nurse hesitated, citing procedures and payments, Ethan calmly pulled out his phone, made one call, and within seconds the entire floor shifted, administrators rushed in, doctors appeared from nowhere, equipment rolled toward the child, and the widow stared in disbelief as her baby was whisked into intensive care, because what Ethan had done next shocked everyone. He didn't just pay the bill, he bought the entire problem, announcing on the spot that he would cover every treatment needed for the child and establish an emergency fund to ensure no patient in that hospital would ever be denied care for lack of money again. And when the staff realized who he was, the billionaire philanthropist whose donations made headlines, they froze, embarrassed, ashamed, but Ethan wasn't finished, because he demanded a full review of the hospital's emergency intake policies, threatening to withdraw all funding if another poor patient was ever left waiting while wealth walked straight through the door, and the widow, still shaking, collapsed into tears not of despair but of relief, gripping Ethan's hand as if it were a lifeline, whispering thank you over and over, while he simply nodded, unable to speak, because as he watched through the ICU glass while machines stabilized the baby's breathing, he felt something heal inside himself too, a wound he had carried since the night he lost his wife. And days passed as the baby slowly improved, the widow, whose name was Maria, sleeping in a chair by the ICU, refusing to leave, and Ethan visited quietly each morning, bringing food, checking reports, never announcing himself, until one day Maria discovered who he truly was and tried to kneel in gratitude, but Ethan stopped her gently, telling her that kindness was not a debt to be repaid but a chain reaction meant to be passed on, and when the baby finally opened his eyes fully and wrapped his tiny fingers around Ethan's thumb, the hardened billionaire wept openly in front of doctors and nurses, because in that fragile grip he felt forgiveness, purpose, and a reminder that wealth without humanity was nothing. And the story didn't end there, because months later headlines exploded as Ethan Blackwood transformed his foundation, funding neonatal care units across the country, rewriting emergency care laws through relentless advocacy, and quietly supporting Maria as she trained to become a nurse, determined to save others the way her child had been saved. And when reporters asked Ethan why he had done so much for a stranger, he simply said, because once, someone didn't do enough for the woman I loved, a statement that silenced rooms and moved millions, and today that baby is alive, healthy, and laughing, unaware that one night in a hospital hallway changed the lives of countless others. All because a millionaire chose compassion over convenience, action over apathy, and heart over money. And if this story touched you even a little, if it reminded you that kindness can rewrite fate and that one decision can save a lifetime, then make sure you subscribe to this channel, because every story we share is a reminder that humanity still matters, and the next one might just change the way you see the world forever.